Hello?
Hello, pretty good.
Back to lessons.
Back to lessons. How was today?
A
Good.
little bit of a break between our classes. I only had one student between us, so I had a few minutes to start eating my lunch and stuff.
Okay.
But
Oh,
yeah. So
I'll
here's the
read this
podcast.
one. I'll read this one and
Okay?
uh, reading aloud. Please share the feedback, more correctly pronunciation, or for using a native speaker.
Okay.
Mm.
Accessible food.
Though it wasn't all 7-Eleven, they did make a point of finding a salad
Every chant stopped.
place too.
Seeking some balance. Good for them. The need
The, the point of finding a salad place to seeking some balances. Go for them.
for greens doesn't disappear on vacation.
And there was that difference in
Need for green doesn't appear on vacation, and there was the difference.
opinion about raw fish. One loved sashimi.
The other, not so much. A class
In opinion about raw fish, one loves sashimi, the other not so much.
classic example of individual tastes, even when sharing an experience.
They
Classic,
also
classic example of individual tastes, even when sharing experience.
talked about fried mochi with sauce.
And that sushi from a train station.
They also talking about fried mochi with sauce and the sushi from a train.
Mushroom, egg, cucumber. Sounds interesting.
It adds those little
Station, mushroom, egg, cucumber. Sounds interesting. It adds those little.
specific details that make the trip feel real.
Definitely. Okay, so
Specific details that makes the trip feel real, definitely. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing wrong.
Nothing at all. Okay.
beyond the food, the audio also touched on their social connections.
Right? They
Beyond the food, the audio also touched on their social connections. How often do you use touched on?
Beyond the food,
Touched on is pretty common. Not necessarily touched on their social connect. Well, no, that's correct because it just means like just a little bit. That's all it means. Like, oh, we touched on the history of Japan, but we talked mainly about food. That's what it's like kind of saying. So they're kind of saying the food was the most important thing, but we talked a little bit about social connections. Yep, makes sense. Touched on is like little.
Last lesson, we touched on previous topic.
Yep. Well, touched on means little though, right?
A lot of topics.
So last time we touched on
A lot
your uncle doing this because it was small, right?
Small.
Where most of the lesson was about you running and stuff like that, and a little bit was my uncle, right? So that would be like touched on, right? Little bit.
Touched on, little bit. Okay.
the audio also touched on their social connections.
right? They
Beyond the food, the audio also touched on their social connection, right?
weren't just tourists wandering alone. They stayed with friends in Tokyo.
They weren't just tourists wander alone. They stayed with friends in
including one friend who was apparently super organized and helped with
Tokyo, including one friend who was apparently super organized and friend
And helped.
helped apparently super organized. It's a time scheduling. This time.
It's you, right?
Thank
You're
you.
the organized one.
with some planning.
Probably a lifesaver on a freestyle trip.
You'd think so. And it's
With some planning, probably a life server or a freestyle trip, spontaneous trip, and
funny how travel brings different parts of your life together. They met up with
do you like freestyle trip or organized trip?
I like middle.
Middle.
I like planning one thing a day and having many things in reserve.
Oh,
So the reason I like this is I can go to that first thing that I planned. Let's say I have a plan for today. We're going to the aquarium. I
aquarium.
go to the aquarium with my daughter and family. Oh, my daughter loves it. We stay there all day. Oh, my daughter's scared. She doesn't like it too much. Okay, let's quit. And then let me look at my other list of 10 other options. Okay, we finished the aquarium. Let's go try this museum or something. That's how I like to plan. One big thing, and then if I like it, I stay. If I don't like it, I try to find something different. Yeah. Because
Fair enough.
I,
Okay.
I guess when I was growing up, my mom liked to plan like 3 things a day. One for the morning, one for afternoon, and one for nighttime.
Wow,
And
easy,
if I was really enjoying the morning, like, oh, this is so much fun, she'd be like, well, it's time though, we gotta go. And I'm like, but I'm still having fun. Like, can we stay? And she's like, no, we gotta do the lunchtime thing. And I'm like, oh. So I like to give myself that option that I can stay if I want, or I can move on if I want. That's why I do it that way. Yeah. But yeah, anyways, keep going.
You have a free time. Nice.
Yeah, give myself more options.
Yeah, thank you.
with another friend.
Oh, Zane, was it from London?
Yeah, who just happened to be
With another friend, or Jane was it London? Yeah, who just yes.
Just happened to.
in Japan too.
Hmm.
And his girlfriend's sister worked at the Four Seasons, which is
And his girlfriend's sister worked at the Four Seasons.
how they connected.
Small world. It shows how like global networks function.
Is how they connect these small worlds. It shows how like global network function.
Careful with Small World. Small World is always slow and a bit of a pause. So you'd be like, is how they connected? Small World. Right? There's a little pause and then Small World. Right? Like that. Not just, this is how they connected Small World. Not like that.
Okay.
It's slower.
Which is how they connected small world.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
It shows how like global network function these days.
It really does. And another significant connection, one of them was travel.
It really does. And another significant connection, one of them was traveling with their mother for the first time overseas.
Traveling with their mother.
For the first time overseas, I think they said.
Yes. And apparently the mother absolutely loved Japan.
To the point of
And apparently the another absolutely loved Japan, the point of considering
staying longer.
Which really says something about Japan's appeal, doesn't it?
which really says something about Japan's appeal, doesn't it?
Captivating across generations.
Sharing that kind of experience.
Captivating across generations. I'll start sharing that kind of experience. Captivating. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like remember, captivating comes from the word capture,
Capture.
right? So captivating is like capturing your attention. Yeah.
Capture 1, capture 2. Nice.
Experience, especially a first time, must create some strong memories.
Experience first time must create some strong memories.
Absolutely. But maybe the most surprising connection was meeting Akira.
Absolutely, but maybe the most sharing connection was meeting me.
Akira.
It changes the episode. So from Japan travel to my personal topic.
Oh, I didn't know your full name is Akira. I thought it was just Aki.
Yeah,
Okay.
Akira.
Akira. Okay.
Mm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very famous movie, Akira.
Yeah. New generation Tokyo.
Yeah.
Neo
The
Tokyo.
it was like the first anime to really get popular in the West. It was like what brought anime to the West was Akira.
Wow.
So yeah, very
Nice.
famous.
It's yeah. Akira is intonation is different. Japanese so Akira. Foreign international people Akira.
Oh,
It's so I
the
I
different.
need a quickly person. I'm a quickly person. I like Aki. It's simple.
Fair.
One,
Well, I'm lucky
actually,
with that because
Uh.
Troy, quick, Troy.
quick.
Same here.
Do you have a second name? Or Troy
Yeah, my full name is Troy Gregory Sitters,
or Gregory Siders? Wow, so
but
cool.
I don't like those names. So the only
Right.
nickname I've ever had was from my dad, and he called me Troy Boy.
Troy boy.
Uh,
Wow.
But that's because my dad's name is Roy,
No.
and he was called Roy Boy. So he was like, yeah, Troy Boy, Roy Boy, same. So
Wow.
very
Nice.
strange
Nice
name.
sounds. Nice sounds. Thank you for sharing.
Anyways.
Yes. The person they knew from online English lessons.
Exactly. From
Yes. Yes, the person they know from online English lesson exactly from.
Cambly. Taking that online relationship into the real world.
That's brilliant.
From Cambly, taking that online relationship into the real world. That's
Campy? You put campy.
Cambly.
Oh, well, the translations puts campy, right?
Mm.
Should be like this, right?
It's a miss.
Misspelled.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyways, that's okay. Campy.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
It's great when that happens.
And they caught up on his life. He was job hunting.
It's great when what happens. It's the best things. What's mean?
That's
It's great when that happens.
And they caught.
It just means like,
Awesome.
yeah, it's good that they were able to meet, right? It's good, like whatever you talked about, whatever you just said, is a good thing. Yeah.
Good things, yeah. And they catching up on his life. He was
Caught up on his life. He was job hunting.
He has job
Hunting, had
hunting,
run a marathon.
run
In
marathon.
India, wasn't it?
India, not
Yeah.
It was
India.
recovering, doing
Recovery. It's not India, wasn't it?
physio and seeing a chiropractor.
Yeah,
Doing
it wasn't just
physio,
a superficial hello.
chiropractor. Yeah, it wasn't just superficial. It wasn't just superficial. Similar words, similar nuance.
It wasn't just superficial. Yeah. Superficial just means like, oh, hey, Aki, what's your job? Oh, you do this? Okay. Right? Like, you're superficial just means like you're asking because you feel like you have to. So when you say it wasn't superficial, you're basically
Wasn't.
saying
Mm.
you are actually interested. Superficial is I'm asking to be polite, not because I
Right.
care.
Could you
Yeah.
could you take the lesson or more detail?
Hello, they seem genuinely interested.
He even asked about his family, like his
They seemed genuinely interested. They even asked about his family, like
brother-in-law,
Who plays rugby for the Miyahana Heat team in Suzuka.
right?
his brother-in-law who plays rugby for the Mia Honda Heat team in Suzuka. It's also his. I mistake. His brother, his sister is a professional
Sisters.
rugby player in this scene.
Right. And they
Ah.
chatted about the
Yeah.
team, the local fans. It shows a real depth to that.
And they chat about they chat about team, the local fans. It shows real depth. What's depth?
Depth. Right. Just means deep. Right.
Depth.
So it shows real depth, meaning it's very deep, meaning there's
Deep.
lots of it.
Lots.
Right.
That connection.
It's those personal interactions that often give you the best.
The connection is those personal interaction that often gives their best
feel for a place,
place
beyond the tourist
beyond
sites.
the tourist sites.
Speaking of culture, they did try to
beyond the tourist sites. So he said so. Not to visit sightseeing for meeting related people in Japan, living in Japan. He said.
Okay.
delve into that a bit. They were curious about Shinto.
Japan's indigenous religion.
Just delve into.
Delve into just means to like think of it like diving into the water. Delve is like when you're exploring something. You normally use like delve into like a cave if it's a physical thing, right?
Physical thing.
You delved into the cave to search and explore, but in this case, you're delving into an idea, right? They delved into Japanese culture, right?
Yeah.
They're learning about like,
dive into your history, your
it's like exploring the history.
Exploring your journey, your big journey.
Exactly.
Okay.
Religion, yeah. They picked up on its focus on harmony, peace.
And notice the temples everywhere. How beautiful they were.
And they even learned the
basic
prayer ritual: bow twice, clap twice, small donations.
That shows a real effort to.
That shows a real effort.
Engage, doesn't it? Not just observe.
Definitely. It reflects a desire to understand something deeper about the culture.
Another big observation.
Another big
Cleanliness.
observation. cleanliness.
They were amazed by how
They are
clean
amazed by how
everywhere
clean.
was.
Especially,
Everywhere was.
yeah, considering the lack of public rubbish bins.
Which they figured
Especially considering the lack of public rubbish bin. What's litter? What's different to litter or rubbish?
Rubbish is
garbage.
British English.
Hmm.
So
Garbage.
trash and garbage are North American.
Hmm.
Rubbish and yeah, so yeah, it's trash and garbage are North American. Rubbish is UK or Australia, New Zealand. Litter just means to put rubbish or trash on the ground.
On the
Right.
ground.
Well, it means like to put it in where it shouldn't be. So it could be
Where
put
it
it on the ground, put it in the river, put it in someone's house, right? Basically, putting the garbage in the wrong spot is to litter.
Thank you.
But yeah, rubbish is just for UK English. So if you
UK.
talk to your New Zealand friends, rubbish
Yeah.
probably makes sense. But if
Yeah.
you're talking to me, you should say trash or
Trash.
garbage. right?
Garbage. Garbage. Thank you.
figured must be down to people
Must
just
be
being
down to
really
people
civic
who are
minded,
civic-
taking their own.
Civic mind. Civic minded. Do you use civic mind?
Not really.
Not really.
But it's just because it's like civic means to do your duty for the country, kind of. Because civic just means like related to the country. And people don't normally do things like that, right? And I wouldn't even say that it's civic minded. Because, for example, is it civic minded not to litter? Or is it a human thing not to litter? Right? So
Okay.
civic minded is not really popular because of that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Because
you.
you just say it's normal not to litter, right?
Trash home.
Trash.
It's a
home.
fascinating
Fasting
cultural
cultural
difference.
difference-
That
difference.
sense of sharing.
Sense of. Please have a tip for shadowing.
The best way is you want to try to keep up with them as fast as they're going, right? Because two things you want to learn with shadowing is the words, of course, but also the flow. So if you're falling behind, like you should be trying to keep up, but also not going too fast. So own trash home, it's a fascinating cultural difference in that sense of like if you do that, that's clearly wrong because that's not the shadow, right? They're going like their own trash at home. It's a fascinating cultural difference. The sense of, right? Like you got to try to follow the flow and the vocabulary at the same time. If you're falling behind, that's okay because it's difficult to stay at the level. But if you're starting to fall behind too much, always be pausing it. Even let's say you're falling behind by the time they say fascinating, just pause it there, catch up to fascinating, and keep going. Because if you fall behind too much and then you pause it at the end, you're basically just reading. You're not really shadowing anymore, right? Because they've already read everything and then you just read it afterwards, right? That's a little bit different than shadowing, okay?
Okay.
But yeah.
Thank you. What do you think? Which prefer the best how to learning, like this style or script? So
I prefer a script.
play a role.
Well, so I prefer a script if you have someone like us to talk to. But I like shadowing by yourself.
Okay.
The reason for that is
Mm.
if you look at this, right? Own,
Uh.
trash, home, it's fascinating cultural difference, the sense of. Like that's not a real sentence or thing,
Yeah.
right? Because half of the sentence was on the previous one, and a part of the next sentence will be on the other one. It makes it like it's getting more confusing, and then sometimes I'm even noticing that like you'll
100%,
just
yeah.
you'll skip a word because you're like, oh, that sentence is already done. I'll just start here, right? And
Okay.
then you end up missing a part, right? So shadowing is great by yourself because you don't have anyone to talk to. But if you have someone to talk to, having a script or having a back and forth conversation is a lot better, in my opinion. Yeah.
Okay. So now this lesson, so I'll try new challenge for
Okay.
me. Yeah, I understand. So it's my private practice by myself. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, it's a very important to feedback is help me my learning English. Thank you.
Okay.
And it's continue this similar situation.
Yeah.
Last 4 minutes.
Okay.
So yeah, we had talking about their impressions of Japan. They were they are surprised. They are surprised by how clean everything was, even without trash cans.
Okay, good. Trash cans. I'm
Trash
Canadian,
can.
so that's good.
Mm.
That's something many visitors notice. Did they say anything else that stood out?
Yes, they loved how kind and helpful people were. Even small things like someone showing them the right train platform made a big difference.
It's amazing how kindness can shape a whole trip. What about cultural things? Were they curious?
For sure, they learned about Shinto literature and tried them at the shrine.
Okay. That sounds
They
like
also
real. Oh,
they
sorry.
also noticed how peaceful the atmosphere was.
Be a bit careful with how big of a break you get.
Hmm.
If you like, I just tried to talk, right? Because it's not even that I'm like I'm trying to read with you, but naturally in English, if there's a long pause, that means it's my turn. So even if you're like tried them at a shrine and you want to give yourself a pause, you still have to go pretty quick. You got to be like, I tried them at a shrine. They also notice it can't be at the shrine because then I feel like I have to go, right? So be careful with the pauses.
Okay. Yeah, I confused it. So how to pronunciation, how to speak pronunciation. Yeah.
So if
Okay.
you're confused or something like that, just use use your sounds. Go like because again, any pause means like your turn, Troy, right? Even if I know that you haven't finished, my brain just goes, okay, read, Troy. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Okay. Last 1 minute. Thank you for sharing. We talking about continue my meeting with my friend and how to we tried new how to new material on podcast style on radio on the radio. Therefore, this it's better reading script with you. Okay, please have a feedback. Please have a feedback for this lesson.
So the podcast thing was quite interesting, and it can work. I think it can work for a lesson if you want for the future. You just have to make sure that the script looks like a script on the podcast. Because if half the sentence is gone on the other slide and then it goes to the next one, it just gets confusing to read and it doesn't feel proper. That's all. But if it's a normal script for the podcast, it's great. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.